Welcome, fellow travelers. It's Mickey Gold. I call you travelers because we're on a journey, and journeys don't happen all at once. There are different phases. We've talked about the power of our words before. We've talked about using I am in a way that if you say I am, the words coming out of your mouth, you want them to be true about yourself. We also have talked about when we say stuff about people around us or situations that our subconscious mind can't differentiate between whether we're talking about ourselves or the other people. So again, the power of our words. Now, the next step of our journey is to bring in imagination so we can elicit feelings. Because if you've ever tried to do affirmations and you've done them till you're blue in the face, and they just didn't work, it's because the feelings weren't matching the words coming out of your mouth. Now, what we can do to start getting those feelings is to imagine. Our imagination is amazing. And you might be, whoa. Imagination, not my thing. You might do it because you do hypnosis and meditation and all that stuff. Not my thing. If you've ever worried, if you've ever had anxiety, or if you've ever ruminated about something from the past, you have imagined. Think about that just for 1 second. You have imagined. And you've used it for evil instead of good, that superpower of your imagining. Because imagination brings up feelings like nobody's business. Because really, think about it for 2 seconds. Someone says something or does something to you, you fill in a story there. You say, they must think I'm this must be blah, blah, blah. Most of the things we ruminate on about our past, we have to fill in a few things. That's using our imagination. When we're worried about the future, we're imagining stuff. We wouldn't be worried if we weren't imagining things, because the thing is, we never know. So why not use that to make a life that is wonderful? We can do little tiny things like just sitting back, doing something like relax yourself, do a body scan, tell your toes to relax, move through your whole body, and then take a moment and come up with a word that is like peace or love, something that you want to feel, and just imagine what it would be like to feel peace in your body. There has to have been some time where you might have felt peace. So if you can bring that feeling up, imagine it. Imagine what it would be like if you were a peaceful person, what you would look like, what you would stand like, how you would talk. Same with love or any other thing. Just imagine. Now, if that's a little more challenging for you, you can do rerunning your day or pre-paving your day. Rerunning your day is basically just going through your day and having it be the way you wished it was, and imagining and feeling it. Now, you might not get that whole scene. You might get one little spot, but we really want to feel those feelings. What would you look like? What would you talk like? How would you stand if you felt that feeling? And then in the morning, you can pre-pave your day by imagining exactly the way you want it to go. Because even if it doesn't occur exactly the way you wanted it to go, you still had some feelings in there that felt good. And let's face it, if you've ever overslept your alarm or woken up to the dogs vomited on something or the coffee maker not working, you know how that can change the rest of your day. So just imagine what just a little bit of good feelings might be able to do for your day. Imagine it. Now, there are things, unlimited amount of ways that we can imagine. Anytime we want to take a break, because like I said, if you're worrying, you're imagining. You could be taking that moment and just feel it. The more we feel it, the better it is. You can just imagine yourself sitting in a movie theater, watching yourself on the screen, imagining what you would be like, one little scene, what you'd stand like, how you'd talk. Or imagine yourself standing in front of a full-length mirror, looking, being, feeling like you want to feel. Again, this is your imagination. There's all sorts of ways to do this. Now, There's another technique that I've learned recently that, I do meditation and I teach hypnosis, all these different things. And a lot of times, or even with my yoga classes, we'll tell people to breathe in the good feeling that they want and exhale the stuff they don't want. Okay, well, that's wonderful, but what are you exhaling the stuff you don't want on? Your dog, your people around you? Now, here's something we can do to change that. Imagine above your heart center a golden heart, and it's a filter. And it sucks in any negative. And you imagine hitting a transmute button, a button that says transmute, and it blows out positives. So say you walk into a room and the vibe is really negative and it's like, ooh, you can feel it. Have you ever walked in a room and it's like, yikes. And you were like in a really good mood and you walked in there and it's like, ooh, I guess we're not partying. Okay. Imagine breathing that into that heart center, that filter right there, and again, transmute, and then blowing out love or peace or whatever is needed. You'll be a welcome guest anywhere. People will absolutely dig you and want you to be around constantly. And you won't, unlike if you're an empath, you won't get that icky on you because it's going right through that filter and you're good. You can also use this for any emotional stuff going on. You can imagine it being sucked right in there and the good stuff you want, or physical stuff too. You can imagine, I sometimes imagine it running up through my body if something hurts and going right there and poof. There's so many different ways to imagine to elicit those positive feelings, because we spend how many hours of the day doing the opposite. So let's make this world the world we want to live in, and imagine, just like there are plenty of examples. For instance, Einstein, he did something called thought experiments, and he would imagine what it would be like to be riding on a beam of light. So he was able to come up with certain things, and his thought experiments were able to give him the answers and the things he was looking for. There's a man named Neville Goddard who writes a lot about imagination and feeling is the key. He talks about his family. His father used to walk by this empty lot and not a penny to their name, and he would imagine and see and feel a gigantic building and a corporation with their name on the building up in a big, sign. And years later, that's exactly what was. And they became one of the wealthiest people in Barbados. So we're only limited by what we can feel. So let's take that next step on the journey. Peace, love, namaste.